Hi, it's Sandy Wiley. Today I'm going to talk about, a not so pleasant feeling that we all have felt one time or another. Hopelessness. There's been a point in everyone's life, at least a time or two, for some people more than others, when they felt hopeless. I've known I felt hopeless in my life many, many, many times. The biggest times I felt hopeless was after I had a miscarriage and the fertility doctor told me, you're never going to have a baby on your own without some surgical procedure. Of course he was wrong. I had 2 babies on my own with no intervention. But that's what he told me. And he was head doctor of the infertility clinic at Faulkner Hospital, Brigham and Women, Faulkner. But that's when he told me, and that's when I really went into a very deep depression, and I stopped living. I mean, I ate and I slept and I didn't leave the house, and I got extremely obese. I went up to like 175 pounds, and I just put all the shades down in my room, in my living room, and just laid in a mattress on the living room floor. That's how I just barely existed. I just ate and slept. The other time I felt hopeless was after I had children, especially with Alex, when Alex got pneumococcal meningitis and extensive brain damage, and he was in a coma on Easter weekend, Easter 2000. That was my 911. And the doctors said, we can't promise you anything. We don't know if he'll recover somewhat or if he'll ever recover. And one of the doctors went off the case because she couldn't handle it. These times in my life were extreme feelings of hopelessness. Now, hopelessness can be like, you know what, I'm never going to lose weight. I just might as well resign myself that I'm going to be chunky. Or hopelessness can feel when the doctor saw something on my very first mammogram. They called me in and they said, we see something on your mammogram that's not right. We want you to come in for additional testing. I went nuts. I went berserk. I was scared. So there's all these things of feeling hopeless that, life isn't going to work out the way you want it to. From the small hopelessness, like I'm not going to catch this, I'm not hopeful that I'm going to catch this bus or this train. I'm not going to get to work on time today because I feel like, small things like that, or like, I'm going to try to go to the beach one time this summer, but every time I have a vacation day, it always rains. So I really feel hopeless I'm going to get to the beach. Or it can be life-altering, like with my son fighting for his life, and a doctor saying, I don't know if there's any hope for him. So it's all different levels of hopelessness, and I'm sure you guys have experienced a time in your life where you felt hopeless yourself. Like I've had like a gazillion, really. Like when my husband lost his job and we had no money and we had no way to pay our bills, I was hopeless. How are we going to eat? That's when I started doing porn. How am I going to, there's no one hiring, literally. Everything is shut down. The whole town, the whole state is shut down. You understand. You've been there yourself, right? I'm sure you felt hopeless. So what do you do with that hopelessness? Let's try to turn things around here. And let's try to be more positive, okay, shall we? Without being a Pollyanna, okay? Because I hate Pollyannas. I have this stone in my office. And by the way, my office is my dining room table. That's my office, okay? And the stone imprinted on that stone, not written on it. It's like imprinted, engraved on that stone is one word. And that one word is imagine. Imagine. Didn't John Lennon write a song about that? Imagine there's no heaven. I'm not going to sing it for you because I'm not doing karaoke anymore. But so when every day I look at that stone, and when I start to feel hopeless about whatever, I look at that stone, and on that stone it says imagine. Okay? And so for me, I can only tell you my experiences or what I do when I feel hopeless. I imagine myself in a better place. Because if you can't imagine yourself in a better place, chances are you're not going to get there. Because you're going to feel like, why bother? You know what I mean? You first have to imagine. You first have to have the dream, okay? How can you fight for a dream if you never have the dream? You see what I'm trying to ingrain on you? You have to first be able to dream. First be able to imagine things being better. What do you want? You know? Imagine that happening, right? Because if you can't imagine that happening, then you're going to throw your hands up and you're just going to give up. So the way to overcome, or at least for me, the way to overcome hopelessness is not by being a Pollyanna and thinking all these positive things. Oh, everything's going to be great. Yeah, it'll all work out. No, that's not what I do. I imagine things going the way I want them to. So in other words, I dream. You know, I have a dream. I'm Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wrote a great speech about it, right? I have a dream. But things weren't that way. Like, no one even believed things could be that way until someone imagined them to be. I grew up during segregation, right? Did you think back then anyone would imagine that when they were separating restrooms for blacks and whites, that black and white can marry? That two women can marry? That was unheard of. But somebody believed it. Someone imagined it happening. Someone imagined a world where people could coexist peacefully. Someone had to imagine it. Someone had to dream it. Like Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. Someone had to think it, dream it, imagine it before they made it a reality. So, if you're feeling hopeless in your life, I want you to imagine. Do this with me now. Think of what you want and really believe. Traffic. Really believe that you can achieve it. You gotta get that mindset that you can achieve it. And I think that's your first step. Okay? Your first step is to imagine it. Imagining it happen. You know? So, and that's what I did. I imagined myself being a mother, you know, And I said, you know what, I'll do whatever it takes. If I have to use donor eggs, or if I have to do this. Yeah, I was thinking all sorts of crazy stuff, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with my eggs. But this is why I'm so against doctors. I'm telling you, doctors have ruined my life, okay? They have told me, they have just upped. That's another YouTube video. I don't want to, but, so I just imagined that me being a mother in whatever way that is, if a doctor told you you can never have children, you could imagine adopting. But you could imagine yourself being a mother. If I don't know what it is you want, but what if you wanted to write a book? You can imagine your book. What does your book look like? What's the title of your book? See, you give your imagination some reality. And then, things will start progressing. I'm telling you, I've been there. I'm not going to say that, some miracle, though I do believe in miracles. I'm not going to say some miracle is going to happen to you. I don't know. But I know if you imagine and dream something, that you can enable that to come true. Because first you envision it, right? And then you put a plan into action. And it might not always look like, what you thought it would look like. It might not always, be exactly the way you thought it would happen. But it's a lot better than sitting there feeling absolutely hopeless, thinking nothing's going to go your way. And so that, like writing a book, I imagined it first, and then I wrote a little bit every day, and over the course of years, I put together a book, my first book, Poems from Within. That was my first poetry book in 2014, 9 years ago. And one of these great things about imagining things is that it builds, If I can imagine this, if I accomplish this, then I can accomplish this, and so on and so on. And you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. So I'll leave you with that.